Welcome to another edition of the St. Andrews Knights Football Report with Coach Robert Curtin. I'm Mark Plemmons, and Coach, continue to be road warriors, but you saw some improvement this week as you headed up to Bluefield up in Virginia. Kind of take us through some of the highlights of that football game.
Yeah, we went up to Bluefield, Virginia. Very, very good, high-powered offense. I think currently ranked 1 in the NAIA, and we knew they were going to pass the ball a lot. And so we crafted our defense to prevent him from getting his 500-600 yards in the air. I think he ended up with about 179. But in doing so, we gave up the run, and that was a little disappointing. They had a good running back, and he tore us up a little bit for the yards. But so some improvement in that secondary, which was nice to see. Additionally, we saw some really nice things as this was our second week, with a little bit of change in the offense. We actually moved the ball exceptionally well this week, getting 16 first downs. It's more than we've had all year. The majority 8 on 8. And the beautiful thing is the balance. 8 of those first downs were in the run game. 8 of those first downs were in the pass game. And we had several hundred yards rushing the ball and several hundred yards passing the ball. We had 2 touchdowns, one that, inches away, a little bobble, and the defender was able to catch up and get the bobble. So real pleased with that. But disappointed on the fact that we still had a couple turnovers. One was a blocked punt that went in for a touchdown, and we had an interception. But no fumbles on the day. Had a really strong run game, and we continue to improve there, and that allows us to pass the ball really well, or much better than we have in the past.
Coach, and of course that improvement on offense. I looked at time of possession, and I think you had an 11-minute advantage in time of possession. That's something that can help you in the future as well.
Yeah, that was one of our goals was to. Just wanted to turn that alarm off to remind me to.
Oh yeah.
One of our goals was to prevent Bluefield and our future opponents from having the ability to just keep our young defense on there. So we kept the ball for 35 minutes, and I think in that offense they're so high powered and they're quick strike. That quarterback is really good, and they've got some great receivers. I think that'll be the best offense that we see in the conference, one that puts up the most points and the most yards. But for us, if we can continue to maintain that type of advantage, a 35 to 25 or 24-minute advantage, that really bodes well for us as an offense, and it provides our defensive coaches the ability to sit down their kids and talk through some adjustments and what they're seeing out there. And we hope that continues to grow as time goes on, and that's because we had a really good run game, and we managed to clock better, I think, than we haven't had in recent past. But that's normal progression as the season goes on. If you're doing the right things, those little indicators will let you know that you're headed in the right direction. But now we gotta capitalize on those successes, and we got to close some things out.
Coach, and of course you mentioned the running game. Let's go to our player of the week, and it comes from the running game.
Yes. Antarius Carpenter, he played a lot for us last year. I've been talking about him all season, and he had a breakout game. He had 96 yards on the ground, but it was a very tough 96 yards. That defense, they were big, and we had to fight for each and every one of those yards. And he had more than half of what we put on the ground, notwithstanding our quarterback scramble. So. Between him and Brandon Basnight, who broke one for 45 on a dive, and George Starp, who ran exceptionally well. And then we brought in Dalen Sproul, another young freshman. And they just, all 4 of those kids. But the standout was clearly Antarius Carpenter with a great game.
All right, Coach, let's move on to this week. One more road game before you get back home. And you go up to Barbersville, Kentucky to take on Union College. And Union on a 4-game losing streak, and you got to see this as an opportunity.
Yes, we're in conference now, and I agree with you. Every game's an opportunity. I mean, Bluefield, Rhinefield and Pikeville might be the leader of the pack, but they won their first game out, and they've been playing some games now. where we were able to see some things, and I think there's an opportunity there for us. And I'm sure Coach over there at Union is saying exactly the same thing. But, I think we are progressively getting better each and every week. And I think we're starting to put some things together. And I like our opportunities as they present themselves going into this week. But it's another road game. We got to prepare ourselves, physically, mentally, and emotionally right to head on out there.
Coach, what are the keys for the Knights this week?
The offense has got to continue to grow. I'd love to say we're going to control the ball again for another 35 minutes, but we got to control the ball, control the game. And, Antarius and our bevy of our stable of running backs needs to pick it up even a little bit more. Okay, now that they're 2 weeks, 3 weeks comfortable into the new adjustments. And then we got to continue to have that balance of, 8 first downs on the ground, 8 in the air. Our quarterback is really settling in, and he's got to continue to grow in that position. Because he's got great wide receivers, and Darius Holly's done a good job. Defensively, we've got to do it all positions. We can't just worry about the run game or the pass game. We got to put that together now. We were worried about Davidson's run game. We were worried about Bluefield's pass game. We mitigated certain things. Now let's put it together against Union and get a solid run, defense of the run and the pass game. And then on special teams, we just no turnovers. We got to have a solid special teams week again, and we actually got to get a turnover on special teams. We got to get a block punt or a block kick, or maybe take one back on kickoff coverage, kickoff return that puts our offense in a good position. So those are the 3 big things we got to do: one on the offense, one on defense, and one on special teams.
Coach, I don't think we call too many guys' names on defense, but who are starting to be the leaders on the defensive side of the football for you this season?
We've thrown everything to include the kitchen sink at our opponents, but I would tell you we've got some phenomenal defense players. The leader of the D line. If you look at Irvin's tape, this week, Big Irv as we call him, our nose guard, he's taken on 1 and 2 blocks every single down, and he's getting in there. He's fighting really well. And then I would tell you another great guy on defense is Tyrell Milligan. Milligan at the outside linebacker, we moved him down today as defensive end so we could put a little speed. And then, of course, Heath Lavarius Lewis, number 8's always rock solid for us. He had another exceptional game. But those would be the top 3, one in each one of those positions, linebacker. And, Nick Henderson, our hometown Scotland young man, freshman again, he had a phenomenal game this past week at middle linebacker. So, if any Scotland fighting Scots out there, they need to know that Nick Henderson played a phenomenal game and really helped us out, both dropping in pass coverage and filling the gaps and chasing down a quarterback. So really proud of him this week. And I would put him this week as a guy that's been growing on that defense, and he's going to be a player, power player in the future.
Well, Coach, got another opportunity this Saturday, 1:30, Barbersville, Kentucky against Union College. Any fans that go on the road, I'm sure it would be appreciated. And if not, we'll check back on the website. The folks at St. Andrews will get you some stats on that one, and you'll know what happened there. But I'm not sure if they've got video or not, Coach, on their home games. Check and see first, and if we find a video link, we'll try to share it out to you guys as well. St. Andrews on the road one more time before they come back to Laurinburg for a home game coming up in 2 weeks. This has been the St. Andrews University Knights Football Report with Coach Robert Curtin. I'm Mark Plemmons. Thanks for joining us.